Hi everyone, we've been working on a transition project to help you transition into university life. We've picked up some tips and tricks along our journey and we'd love to share them with you. My name is Lamia Jaballa. I'm in my final year of fashion pattern cutting and today I have with me
Tamica Sousa. I am in BA Fashion Journalism and Content Creation.
and
I'm Tutu. I'm first year fashion marketing.
and today we're going to be talking about finance and how to deal with money in university life. So Tamika, what do you think is the most difficult thing about finance when you're a student?
I think definitely the struggle starts when you initially leave home. I don't know if any of you have experienced that or have
Yeah.
some thoughts on that.
The issue with leaving home was leaving my parents. So like you have no one to have checking up on you physically or like giving you financial like tips and tricks. So, but obviously as time progresses, you have to learn by force.
Yeah. I think I struggle with the same thing when your parents are there to tell you, yeah, you can buy that, and no, you can't buy that, and then you have this financial freedom, and it's kind of hard to navigate and take accountability with, you know, your priorities and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think as an international student it's a similar struggle, and I think there is a little added layer from being like so physically far from any of your parents or your guardians or whoever was financially supporting you at some point. I think learning to manage money, especially in a foreign context where you're learning, okay, what's a reasonable price in the area, what is like kind of splurging, like learning the difference between like a Waitrose and a Lidl, for example.
Yeah.
It's, I think for an international student that is like a huge part of it.
As an international student, you guys don't get like student finance.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, especially at undergrad level. Most of us are not getting student finance. A lot of us, our parents are paying, or we're paying, or it's finance that's coming from home. So once you've gotten here, it's kind of like
Where
Do
that's
your
up
thing.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as a home student finance, like everyone, as soon as the money comes into your bank account, you're like, I'm going to spend, like, but obviously you have to think smart. Like, you shouldn't just be spending your money on, like, let me get me this, like, Chanel bag or something because I have, like, £2,000 in my bank account and stuff. How would you?
I think my favorite tip when it comes to getting that student finance payment is to make sure you have all your priorities either prepaid for or set to the side. Your rent is the big one, your utilities and your travel and your food. Those are the big ones. You need to have money for those to survive. But if you do struggle, there are different grants and bursaries that you can get from LCF, from UAL. You'd go to the UAL portal, you'd click on the drop down and you'd go to finance and funding, and then there you can check your eligibility criteria, and if you're eligible, apply, and then they'll reply to you in about 1 to 2 weeks. So
I'm getting an arts terms job, because arts terms is very helpful. You can find the arts terms sites on the UAL app or on the website.
Arts Temps is the company that employs students and alumni to work within the university at reasonable prices, so that it's flexible. You'll have time for your studies and all of that, and you know, sometimes sometimes you don't have to work, sometimes you want to work. It's very flexible. They don't pay half bad, so there's that as well.
Yeah, I think maybe getting into a little bit more about like working as a student, I find that obviously coming from an international student position, there's like
a
cap on the hours you can do during term, and then obviously depending on what your schedule looks like, there are kind of like a few difficulties to navigate. I found that arts temps, as you guys said, is the better option because they fully understand the fact that you've got academic commitments, and a lot of the time I found they're kind enough to try and like work you around that.
Yeah.
I don't know what working's like, obviously, as someone who can afford to kind of miss a few more days because you guys don't have the visa issue.
It's definitely, with someone being a home student, sky's the limit. You can literally just not go and work. But I wouldn't suggest that, obviously. There must be a balance. And if you don't establish that balance from the beginning, it's going to be extremely hard to balance it. I've personally found it very, very hard to work and study at the same time, because I work for fashion and I study fashion, so it really blends in together. I don't have set time, so it really depends on your job. If you have a part-time 9 to 5, it's much easier to navigate than a from home job or something like me. But I would say if you don't have like funding from outside, it is probably your best bet to work, especially with everything going on nowadays. But there are some things that you can do to cut your expenses.
Such as uni days or student beans. Uni days, it gives you discounted prices on like different items like shoes or clothes or bags and stuff like that, so you're not spending the full price and like half of your finance gone. And this really helps me, even with food as well.
And other subscriptions like YouTube, Amazon Prime, they have discounts for that, so always keep an eye out for student discounts, as well as student discounts in terms of travel. There's student discounts for that too.
And then obviously there's things like Too Good To Go. But I think also like accountability in terms of like your financial decision making is really important. Like like you're saying, it's a lot of these discounts are for things like shoes and clothes and stuff, and it's like to say, if you're going to splurge on yourself a little bit and it's maybe not a necessity like food and shelter and stuff, rather opt to find at least to spend the least amount of money that you can if you're going to splurge on yourself, because I think it is important to sometimes like treat yourself. I don't think you should suffer the entire time, but it's about being accountable for yourself and realizing that there's a time for everything, I think.
Because when you leave home, there's no go back. Do you know what I mean? You've entered the world of being an adult, and you're gonna have to always be accountable for the way you spend money, even if you do go back home, even if you do move back to your parents' house or whatever it is. We are only growing up and we're only getting older and more independent. So it's a lifestyle that you need to develop and always find different tips and tricks, bits and bobs to help you with spending. There are also funds from the uni if you're struggling with rent, and if you're struggling with anything to do with finance, there are people you can contact. There is a financial advice team. You can contact them online or in person. You just have to email them, I think, beforehand to book an appointment with them, and they will give you advice as to how to go about your living situation. You'd explain to them what's going on. They could, give you a few tips and tricks to help. They could tell you, well, we're doing a food donation soon, because sometimes they do food donations. Or they can tell you, for example, you can apply for this fund or this bursary or this grant. They can just help you, find your direction in terms of money and struggling with money.
I know the student union also does a lot of
student union does that
like
too.
Assistance or even like advice about it, especially like renting and stuff.
Where would you find the student union?
Student union, they have a website, Arts SU, where if you scroll through the tabs, you can find the financial assistance. They also send emails regularly, so I think those are like emails that I would keep up to date on, because generally they are really good at advertising, especially like the financial assistance aspect. So does anybody have their own personal favorite money saving tips?
Oh, let me think.
Oh, okay, cool. So on Instagram, there's a page called Catch a Gem. that's when you know if like Krispy Kreme, like to get a free donut, like they do different days, and on that page it tells you what specific days to get a free donut or like a free drink or like desserts and stuff, or like if you're trying to get a TV, you can get as like a discounted price through the page.
They do add up, like free donuts, free drinks. They add up. I think my favorite tip, and trust me, this adds up too. If I can walk, if I can take the transport to zone 2 and then walk to zone 1 from wherever it is, sometimes it's literally a 20-minute walk difference. Get your steps in. For example, I live kind of local, about an hour away walking from Stratford campus. Sometimes I just walk. I know it's only like £2 for the bus, but it adds up over time. Yeah. So definitely walk where you can when it's sunny and lovely like now. And try to cut down on transport expenses with the third off with the rail card, isn't it? The student zip card. But yeah, it's travel that always takes my money. In the middle of the night as well. when you least expect it.
£6.
How about you, Tamica?
Genuinely, for me, I think it's yellow stickers and meal preps.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, because it, like, not having meals, like, readily prepared sometimes, like, incentivizes you to order out. Or even if you know you don't have the funds for it, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm so tired. I might as well go grab like a McDonald's or something, and that kind of does add up, especially because if you do have already stuff like in the fridge and you're just lazy to put it together, you end up with more wasted food, less healthy food, and then that affects your overall mental health. So
I have one more, and this one's for SDT, School of Design Technology at LCF. We have a fabric store, a garment store. You have an allowance of fabrics and all the things you need, buttons, zips, etc. Don't buy the expensive fabrics, please. These are your test pieces, you're learning. Please don't buy the £100 a meter fabrics. There are shops that have discounted fabrics, the offcuts and all of that. So definitely have a look at those. There are lists that you can look at on Moodle.
Like the isn't it the Walthamstow Walthamstow Market or something?
I always plug Walthamstow Market. Walthamstow Market sells the cheapest fabrics. You can literally get fabrics for 75p a meter. So don't spend your money on fabrics and all of that. Yeah, but it will stabilize. You'll get used to it. You're gonna have fun at uni. You're gonna have fun. There are free events everywhere in London. Freshers, the big welcome. They do activities week. You'll have fun and you'll meet lots of people, and it's gonna be great. Okay, guys, I think that was all our tips and tricks for finance. Thank you so much for listening, and catch us in the next one. Bye.